All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flow Bass channel. Thank you so much for bringing those smiling faces right here to another video. So it's that time of year, or it's almost that time of year. We're quickly approaching the holiday season. And you know, this time of year, at least for the past dozen years or so, I have always been asked by friends, family members, wives, girlfriends, even the homies out there, what do I get this person, my angler friend or my angler spouse, etc., for Christmas? At least a dozen years now, people have been coming to me asking this question. So I figured, you know what? Why don't I do a video and answer that question for you guys? Now, before I get into this video, just a little bit of a disclaimer. This is a very in-depth video. There's a lot of potential gift ideas we're gonna go over, so it's kind of long. I've broken everything out in the description. I've put actual chapters so you can go right to what you need if you want to skip ahead and kind of have an idea of what your person might want that you're gifting to, or et cetera, et cetera. And also, I'm gonna have links in the description of every single product that I talk about, so you can just boom, go right to it and make that purchase. And of course, by purchasing through those links, it goes directly into supporting the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it for putting in all this time and effort to make this video for you guys, because I want to be as helpful as possible. Another disclaimer is my background relies around bass fishing, inshore fishing, light tackle inshore, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where my expertise lies. Doesn't really revolve around any type of deep sea or offshore fishing. And then I do a lot of fly fishing myself, but that's a whole other video that we need to get into. So for the anglers that like to target bass, or the species we have in Southeast Florida, like peacock bass, some of those other exotics, things like that, and then inshore fishing like snook, tarpon, stripers for you New England fishermen. Same thing with fluke. This video will definitely cover the fluke anglers as well. West Coast guys, you've got bass out there as well. Not really gonna cover the offshore stuff or the near shore stuff for the West Coast, but that's the type of fishermen that this video is gonna revolve around. Also, the Gulf area too, for you've got snook out there, as well as speckled trout, redfish. That's what all these products are gonna generally revolve around. So just to keep that in mind, so you know who you're shopping for. And I think that's gonna do it. So just to start things off, we're gonna start off with fishing reels. Now there's a ton of options out there. All of them are good. I can't go over all of them by any means, so I've narrowed it down to two different manufacturers, I guess you could say. Now, there's two types of spinning reels out there. You've got your spinning reel, or excuse me, there's two types of fishing reels out there. The spinning reel, and then the other is the bait caster. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of research to see who you're gifting to and see what type of reel they prefer, whether it's spinning or bait casters or both. And if they do primarily use bait casters, you have another problem, which I can't help you figure out. You're gonna have to ask some tricky questions or get with that person's spouse, etc., is whether the reel handle is on the right or the left side. What I mean by that is, here's an example of a bait caster with the reel handle on the left side, and then here's one on the right side. So that's going to be huge in figuring out what one your angler you're gifting to uses. Aside from that, I've pretty much got you covered with the rest of these options that I'm about to show you. So let's get right into it. Starting off, we're pretty much going to be dealing with just two brands, Daiwa and Shimano. These are going to be the biggest names in the industry. I mean, there's other great ones out there too, like Lew's, Cast King, Quantum, et cetera, et cetera. Also Penn, don't forget Penn. I know you saltwater guys are gonna hate me for that. But Daiwa and Shimano pretty much are gonna cover all the bases. You can gift one or the other to an angler and they will appreciate it. And a reel is one of the best gifts you can actually gift to an angler, provided you kind of get those little details I spoke about right earlier. So starting off, we have the Daiwa Excelsior LT. This is a great reel. I've been recently using this on my fishing charters, and it has been phenomenal. Now I'm doing, primarily bass, peacock bass, snakeheads, some other exotics. So in terms of the size, this one's gonna be primarily for your bass or light tackle inshore angler. Definitely stick with the 3000 size. That's gonna get it done. And the price point of $80 for what you get for that is phenomenal. I can't recommend that one highly enough. Moving on, we have the Daiwa Procyon. This is a fantastic inshore spinning reel. You can also use it for freshwater. It's definitely going to step up the quality game for sure. Very, very smooth, fully sealed, so it does stand up to that salt corrosion. And of course, you're going to want to stick with, you know, if you're shopping for that inshore angler, go with that 4,000 size. It's going to give them a little more line capacity. They can put heavier line on it for some bigger fish, redfish, snook, trout, smaller tarpon. Even the smaller stripers, the 4,000 size is going to work. If it's someone fishing for bigger stripers up in the New England area, maybe step it up to the 6,000, but near shore, inshore, I'd go with the 4,000, and then for the bass anglers, go with the 3,000, and that's going to cover all your bases there. Moving on to Shimano. So if you know you have a Shimano angler and you want to get them that Shimano reel, if they pretty much use spinning reels, you cannot go wrong with the Stratic. It's such a phenomenal reel. It's going to cover both things, just like that Daiwa that I just showed you, inshore, freshwater, et cetera, et cetera. That 3,000 size is going to cover a lot of your bases. You know, like I said, if they're going for a little bit bigger species, a little bit bigger redfish, things like that, step it up to the 4,000. But for pretty much a do-all reel, that Stratic 3,000 size is such a phenomenal reel. And it is a little bit higher price tag, but the quality that you get just skyrockets with this thing. That's going to pretty much cover the spinning reels. We're moving on to the bait casters. Now, starting out, I've got this Shimano SLX, and for bait casters, what you get, bang for buck, this thing is absolutely phenomenal. So, of course, you got to figure out, is it right or left hand retrieve? Once you have that figured out, you've got the gear ratios to consider with bait casters as well. Just to play it safe, a do everything gear ratio is that 7:2 to 1. Don't get the 6:3 to 1 that you see on the screen. Always stick with that 7:2 to 1. It will cover every type of technique, every scenario, and it does most of them pretty darn well. The only thing it doesn't do is crankbaits. It's going to drag them along a little too fast. Otherwise, everything else, that 7:2 to 1, that's what you should get for sure if they want bait casters and they're a Shimano person. Moving up to, what am I missing? If they're a Daiwa person or you just have no idea, you can go either or, the SLX or this Daiwa Tatula. Man, the Tatula, again, this is kind of their flagship model, big time workhorse for Daiwa. It's just a great reel. So the gear ratios aren't that easy to see, but if you scroll down to see more, the 7 to 1, that's going to be the 103 SH, and then the 103 SHL, that's the left-hand version. So I'll have both of those, again, linked very clearly in the description so you guys don't make any mistakes. You just got to figure out, again, do they reel with the right or the left? How you figure that out? Ask some questions, maybe be sneaky. Hey, my coworker was wondering, do you reel with your left or your right hand? You know, I don't know. You guys got to figure it out. But that Daiwa Tatula, again, phenomenal reel. You can't go wrong, the SLX or that Daiwa. Now this last reel is a little bit of a bonus reel. So this one right here, this Daiwa Saltus MQ, this is a 6,000 size. This is a big, beefy reel. This is what I use on my big tarpon inshore trips. 200-pound fish flying through the air. This might even be a little outmatched for a 200-pound fish, but you know, those 100, 150s, we smoke them in 30 minutes, get them to the boat and release with this thing. So if you have an angler that's targeting really, really big fish like tarpon or those big, gigantic bull reds or even those massive stripers, that's your reel. No questions asked. That thing it's an absolute beast, high quality reel, super sealed, corrosion resistant, tons of drag. It stops a mule, and can't recommend it enough. So definitely check out that Saltus if you know they're going after some big game. And just don't be confused by the picture. It does show that it is a 5,000 in the picture, but if you just read very carefully, where is it? Here it is. I'm highlighting it for you guys so you can see. That's the part number for the 6,000. So that is what you're going to get. Link in the description. I got you guys covered. Now I'm going to show you guys a couple reels that are going to be for your bigger game bait caster guys. Musky, striper, big bull reds, you know, even some snook and tarpon, this will handle it if your guys prefer a bait caster over a spinning reel for those types of species. You're gonna see a lot of musky guys use this stuff too, and an iconic bait caster for big game is that Shimano Tranx. This thing is a beast. It is, you know, goes down in one of the all-time bigger game, saltwater capable type of reels. This is going to be a 4,000 size series. You need that big reel for the big baits you're slinging and the big fish. And then on the other end of the spectrum, Daiwa does offer some really good choices. Here's the left-hand version. See, I got you guys covered. Link in the description. But Daiwa has you covered with their option, which is going to be the Daiwa Alexa. Again, phenomenal reel. When it comes to these bait casters, typically it's either a Shimano guy or a Daiwa guy. So you're gonna kind of just have to do your own research, figure out which brand they prefer, either or of these bait casters if that's what they like to use for that big game stuff. Now, you would think I would move on to fishing rods, but unfortunately, there's so many fishing rods out there. If you think there were a lot of reel options out there, it's about a 1,000 time increase to the rod options that are out there. There's so many manufacturers, so many brands, so many lengths, so many powers, etc., etc. It's just, I cannot recommend rods to you guys. If you know your angler really wants a rod, just get them a gift card and have them choose it themselves. That's gonna be your play there, best case scenario. But what I can talk to you about rods is rod storage, because obviously every angler, we've got tons of rods out there, and they're just like laid up in a corner, resting up against the wall. They're just left in the vehicles. They're everywhere. It's time to get those things organized, and I know the angler you're gifting for is going to appreciate some way to keep their rods organized and out of the way so they're not falling all over the place, breaking tips, etc. So starting off, I have this Placino vertical rod holder. This thing mounts on the wall, just gets it flush up against the wall, off the ground, out of the way. Really cool. I really like the grips in these. They are like a textured rubberized grip, so they're not going to scratch the rod, and it's just a really cool and convenient option. It's kind of like a cam system. It locks down into place, holds it there, and then obviously you can see in the photo how they have the rods kind of staggered out to make use of the space. So really cool. You can mount it on a wall. No, you can't mount it on the ceiling, so it's just going to be a vertical mount on the wall. But really cool, and that price, 18 bucks. You can't beat that with a stick. And of course, if you look down here, every time you're on Amazon, you've got that potential for a coupon. Do not forget to click that box, because you get 20% off of 17. Whoop, there's an error. But anyway, always look out for that box. Pro tip. I know you guys have been missing it for years, just like me. Save yourself some money there. So next up, in terms of rod holders, this one gets a little more fancy. This Soyuz fishing rod holder, this holds rods up to 12, as well as some gear. So if you have a little bit more space, or your angler does, like in the garage, or there's like a tackle room, if you're so lucky, this thing is gonna be awesome. Stores your gear, just kind of keeps everything in one place. I mean, you can't beat that. Now, price is a little bit more. I mean, this thing is made out of metal, has casters on it. It's 80 bucks, but that 20% coupon again, I got you guys. That one's really cool. And then moving up in the spectrum, or maybe a little more sideways. So this fishing rod holder, this thing holds up to 24 rods. That's awesome. I need a couple of these things myself. But it's just a ton of storage for a ton of rods, and doesn't leave too big of a footprint. So, you know, if your angler has a garage or a room or a specific space where they put all their stuff, this rod holder is actually really good, especially if they have a ton of rods. This is gonna really organize things, and it comes in a bunch of different colors. I really like that gray, but you have black, ooh, the purple. The purple's not a bad option if I do say so myself. And then you've got yellow, barf, white, yeah, or is that silver? Aluminum. No, that's white. So, you've got that option there. This one does not appear to have a coupon, but that might actually change. You never know. And then this here is probably the Mac Daddy of all of these rod holders. It's 150 bucks. But I mean, look at all the stuff. You've got storage for your line, holds, how many rods does this thing hold? It does not say. Holds 15 rods, 12 reels. So there's separate storage for your reels, and you have storage for, oh yeah, you can see the reels hanging up there. This thing is sick. And then you've got line, box storage, has the caster so you can move it around, has a couple little pegs so you can put some baits, etc. Looks like they have some sabiki rigs, you know, more line on the other side. This thing is pretty cool. So this is kind of that, for that angler that kind of has everything, this is gonna do it for them. All right, so moving on, and I know this video is getting kind of long. We've got a little bit more to go, actually a lot more. But this category is gonna be, I would call it your essentials, something that every single angler needs or uses on pretty much every single outing that they go to. Or, you know, there's some things in here that I have that your angler might not thought they have ever needed. But anyway, to start it off, a good set of pliers is what every angler needs. These Dancos, oh my gosh, for 15 bucks, plus you've got a 15% coupon that comes off of that $14.99 price. These pliers are phenomenal. Bang for your buck. They're aluminum, they're lightweight, they're super strong. They have the carbide cutters on there. Those things will cut mono, fluoro, braid. If you have to, you can cut the barb of a hook off, but it will instantly dull those. But a little safety option. And then it comes with those nice sheaths that you can put on your belt. These pliers are hands down, like if the one plier you have to get, it would definitely be these. So a great option. Again, links in the description for everything. And if you have an angler that is a little more bougie, or you know, maybe likes to enjoy the odd adult beverage out there while they're out on the water, these Danco Duffies, they come in a few different variety of colors. The texture on these is kind of like a rubberized coating, so it offers a little bit more grip, which is pretty cool. Has that rubberized sheath as well. These come with a built-in bottle opener. You know, if that's your angler's thing, you can't go wrong with these. And of course, they come in a variety of different colors, etc. Just plain silver, blue, you know. So you've got some options. I really like the green ones. I actually had those until I accidentally threw them. They bounced on the deck and into the water. Rest in peace. Now, next pliers are gonna be for your super bougie angler. Like the angler that has everything, who buys the most high quality items. These Danco Premio. Yeah, these things are just nuts. They're made of titanium. They come with a leather sheath. Just, yeah, they're bougie. So if that's the type of angler you know who's got the best of everything, these are the pliers that you're gonna get, hands down. Not cheap, but they're pretty awesome. So moving on, next item, every angler needs a good scale. You could see I've purchased 2 of these already, so you know, I've got a few in my stable. But you know, this scale, it's super basic, it's not super expensive, 35 bucks, 10% off coupon in this particular instance. These are just easy to read. You can go kilos or pounds. Yeah, nothing more I can really say. They're just super handy, and of course they kind of double as a fish gripper as well, so you can hold on to the lip and kind of control that fish, dip them in the water for a nice easy release, etc. So I mean, I can't recommend these enough. I have 2 of them. So, and when those go out, I'm probably gonna buy some more. Now, if you, again, the bougie angler that has everything, this is the scale for you. It is going to be these Boga grips. Now, the Boga grips come in a variety of different measurements. So you have one that will read up to 15 pounds, one that reads up to 30, and then one that reads up to 60. So I'll have all these linked in the description, broken out so you can easily find them. If you have a like a bass angler or a peacock angler, something like that, smallmouth, the one that goes up to 15 pounds is going to be plenty. And again, they act like a fish gripper too, so you can help kind of release the fish so they don't get away from you, etc. The 15 pound is going to work, you know, largemouth, smallmouth, peacock bass, those types of fish. That's what you want. But if they're going for some bigger fish, like bigger bull reds, snook, some stripers and things like that, the 30 pound is going to work. And then I believe I have it listed, yeah. So for the super huge fish, I don't know. Who's going to be weighing a fish up to 60 pounds? I mean, I don't want to take that out of the water. But big grouper, bull reds, like big bull reds, big striped bass, maybe tunas, big mahi-mahi. The 60 pound will probably be it. But you know, with these boga grips, these are primarily what guys who are chasing after records will go for these boga grips, because they're measured very accurately. They can be tuned by the factory, and then of course they're pretty much spot on. So when you send them in to get certified that they actually measure correctly, so when you submit your record, they have a record of the scale and they know it's accurate, these boga grips are what they use. So again, 15 pound bass, bigger fish, inshore, snook, a little bit bigger striped bass, etc. Go for the 30, and then the 60 are just for the monsters. And then after that, they make some that measure higher than that, but why would you want to carry that out of the water? I don't. But yeah, those three options will get you covered there. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, and I use these on every charter, I've got them right here within a hand's reach away. These fish grippers, especially if you have a kayak angler in your life, these things, oh my gosh, they're lifesavers. You can just keep the fish right there, control them so they're not getting all over the place, and who knows, they pop the line and you lose that fish before you can snap a photo. Yeah, those Rapala fish grippers are just fantastic. I use them enough. The 9-inch ones are the ones that you're gonna want. They do make these tiny little things that my friend Luke left in the boat. Look at that little guy. Which one are you gonna choose? Anyway, awesome tool, especially whether you have, you know, you're fishing out of a skiff like me, kayak, paddleboard, etc., small john boat, or even on the bank. These things are awesome. You can just clip them on your pack and go, and it's an awesome tool and very useful as well. Can't recommend those as enough. Now, these line cutters, I literally use these things probably at least a dozen times every time I'm out on the water. They have a little lanyard thing that's retractable, and I mean, I'm constantly retying and cutting leader, etc., swapping out hooks non-stop. For 15 bucks, can't beat it. Great stocking stuffer, or just one of those tools that maybe your angler didn't know they needed. This is one of them for sure. I've got it right here. The originals are gonna get the job done. Again, in the description so you guys can easily find it. Constantly cutting line, changing out lures, etc. These things just make it so fast, and you can snip the tag end down super, super close, so it's a clean tag end, comes through the guides easily. Just get it. That you should pretty much, if you're watching this video, instantly buy this. No matter who it is, if they're a fisherman or fisherwoman, you can gift them these. They will be super appreciative and they will love this gift, hands down. So moving on, now we're moving on to tackle storage. There's so many options out there, but guys, I can only recommend one, and that's these Busby Colony boxes. This is what I use. Hold that thought. I mean, let's just take a look. I have one right there. Here's one with my terminal tackle. We have some soft baits and at the ends right here. Can't beat it. These are the only tackle storage systems that I use nowadays. I threw everything else out. These are phenomenal. They have the little bins so you can keep everything organized and separated. They have a weatherproof seal so you can actually drop these overboard. They will float, but they will also not get water inside them. That right there to me is absolutely amazing, because I've had other tackle boxes where all the hooks and metal things just rust right out of there, and then all your tackle in that box is ruined because it couldn't keep the water out. super durable. I mean, these are just, they're built like a tank. Can't recommend it enough. So it is a little bit pricey, but one thing to watch out for these is you might see this cheaper option that's $42.99. Do not get that. It comes with no storage bins whatsoever. The $56.99 is going to come with all those little bins. That is what you want to get. And this is going to be some of the last tackle boxes that angler will ever need for the foreseeable future. These are going to be hard to beat. Now, if you really want to go the extra mile and provide that angler with the best tackle gift they have ever gotten in their life, you know, it's not a cheap one, but this Swarm 28 tackle bag with the boxes, this thing is awesome. So cool. Again, it's a pricier gift, so it all depends on your budget and your angler that you're shopping for, but this thing is fantastic. It holds 4 of the Colony 28 boxes, and dude, you can load this thing up and have everything you need on the water. And yeah, it's just awesome. Again, watch out. That cheaper price tag of $199 does not come with the Colony boxes. So just be forewarned, make sure that you get the $370 one that's gonna come with those 4 boxes. Super, super important. Now moving on to this Ryugi little hook holder thing. This thing's pretty cool. I bought one myself because I had some anglers from France that are really into some JDM tackle. They had a few of these on board and I saw that thing, was like, I have to get that. This is really cool. I use it for some specific hooks and whatnot, but essentially you can see here, it separates all your hooks into this tiny little book. So everything's separated. You can put the hook package in there, so when you see the hooks, you know exactly what you're looking at and what hooks are in what package. This thing's really, really cool. Now this comes direct from Japan. So, and there is no overnight option for this, unfortunately. So you're gonna have to wait a couple weeks if you think your person is gonna want that. If you know they shop a lot of JDM stuff, this is really, really, really cool. But again, just keep in mind, this thing, when I order them, it takes me about 2 weeks to get this. So just be forewarned. Moving on to some apparel. Now, every angler is gonna need a good face shield. These things are fairly inexpensive. These Fish Monkey ones are my favorite. I'm a little biased, but they're phenomenal. Keeps the sun off your face, has the holes in it so you can breathe and don't fog up your glasses. And Fish Monkey has a ton of options in terms of colors and styles, etc. Like if you have a bass angler, for instance, this particular bass camo pattern right here is pretty cool. Largemouth or smallmouth, that'll work for both. You know, you have your American flag. There should be one in there that has some billfish and tunas. Yep, right there. So they've got something for everyone. And of course, that first option that you saw there, if you've got a dolphin or Dorado, mahi fisherman, they're gonna like that a lot. So definitely tons of options. You've got a pink in case you have a lady angler that's into pink. Even if it's a guy that's into pink. I mean, Fish Monkey, these things are awesome. This is a great stocking stuffer as well. And then next up, so northern anglers, I didn't forget about you guys. Fish Monkey also makes a fleece. So if you fish in colder weather, ice fishermen, fisherwomen, the fleece Fish Monkey is a lifesaver. This thing will just keep your face nice and toasty, helps keep the wind off of you. Definitely another awesome stocking stuffer gift. They make a balaclava version. I don't know, just go with the face guard in my personal opinion. Just one of those things that they're gonna appreciate because when it's snowing and there's ice on the water, it's cold. You wanna stay warm. Next up is this fish ruler. So this is kind of unique. You know, you do have to do a little bit of research, figure out what type of species your angler likes to fish for. So redfish, snook, striped bass, longer fish. It's just, keeping track of your catches, because we're always trying to catch the next heavier fish, the next bigger fish. We're always trying to beat our previous best. So these definitely do come in handy. What I really like about these is this has a little 90-degree piece of plastic that you can see there. You can butt the fish's face right up against it so you know you're getting an accurate measurement every time. Because posting this stuff on the internet, people will rip you a new one. If they think it's just, if you're not right on that line, if you're a little bit farther back, you know, giving your fish an extra ½ inch or so, you know, us anglers, we never hear the end of it from other anglers. So that's why I really like this one. Now there's two options here. The $21.99, the green one, that's 60 inch. I think that's the one you should get. If this other one that's what, 96 inches, this blue one, don't get that one. You're not bringing a fish over 60 inches into the boat to measure unless you're gonna kill it. And typically, when you're recording catches like this, it's a catch and release scenario 99% of the time. Stick with the 60 inch. Plus, why would you want to bring a gigantic fish in the, that's just like, I don't want to deal with that. You know, maybe your angler's different, but anything over 50 inches is like, okay, you know, 56-inch musky, I'll bring that in the boat, but that's like maxing out. So next up, we've got some cutlery. So these Dexter knives, if you have an angler that likes to take home their catches and fillet up some fish, they need a good fillet knife. Good high quality fillet knife just is such an invaluable tool. I filleted fish with crappy fillet knives and it makes the job 3 times as hard. These Dexter knives right here, especially this 24912, that's the part number. This knife is absolutely, it's phenomenal. What is this? The 8-inch, I believe. It is the 8-inch knife. So, and it has the serrated edge on the opposite end. So right when you're starting to break through the scales and break through a couple little pin bones, that serrated edge really works well. And then of course, the cutting edge is really, really sharp. Can't say enough good things about these Dexter fillet knives. This next product, this is super useful. Again, great stocking stuffer, but you know, especially for the kayak angler or you know, maybe the bank fisherman, someone who does a little bit of wading. This little cell phone lanyard, such an invaluable tool. I mean, I have personally lost phones overboard to never have been found again. And if I would have had one of these, would have saved me, you know, the cost of an iPhone. So a great, great option. Comes in a bunch of different colors. I really like that olive green color one. Pretty cool. Oh no, the lemon lime might be my new favorite, but $21.99, great stocking stuffer or just a gift all around. Maybe if you don't know that angler too well, this thing is awesome. And this works for boat anglers too. It works for everybody, to be honest. I can't not think of a scenario where you might not need one of these things. So next up, these little magnetic patches that you can put on things to hold your pliers or some lures, etc. These are super useful as well. Great in the kayak. I had a couple of mine when I had my Hobie. Just stick the stuff that you are constantly using, just stick it out of the way and it's within a hand's reach. It's not laying around all over the place. Kind of keeps it a little more organized. Very awesome. Go with the 4x6. The 6x10, that's kind of large. Maybe if the person has a boat, like a larger boat, like a skiff, that might work, but the 4x6 is gonna be pretty handy, if I do say so myself. And then a good headlamp. Oh my gosh. You know, those early mornings or getting back to the ramp late at night, a good headlamp is so invaluable. And these Coast lamps, I recently was introduced to this by my buddy Joe, who does a lot of surf casting out there, wee hours of the morning. He also does a lot of night fishing too out on the jetties, and he introduced me to this Coast lamp, the best headlamp I've ever used. Rechargeable, has a bunch of different modes, you know, widespread, spot, has the red, so you can so your eyes don't get blown out by the white light. This thing is so awesome. It's not the brightest light out there. There's way brighter ones, but those are the headlamps that have like a big battery pack that you gotta have on the back of your head. Don't get those. This thing, I mean, and I said it wasn't the brightest light out there, but this thing is flippin' bright. I mean, oh my gosh. especially the spot beam when I'm fighting a fish and I can shine that directly onto the fish. Yeah. I have used a lot of other headlamps like Black Diamond, etc. Those things don't hold a candle to this, and that's a pun intended. But anyway, can't recommend that one enough. That is the headlamp to get. And so moving on, this one, so this is a tool that I mentioned earlier, something that the angler might not know they needed. This line spooler, me as a guide, I'm constantly changing out the line on my reels. So this makes that job so much easier. I can do a bunch of reels at the same time, especially when I bought those Daiwa Excelsiors. I bought 3 of them, had to spool them all with line. It turned it into a 5-minute process instead of like 20. Ooh, blowing out my voice, doing a lot of talking. So, yeah. I did a video on this. I'll have that linked in the description too. Just go look at it. Makes the process super easy. Again, I never thought I would need something like that. I did that video as a joke, almost, kind of like a joke, but the thing's not a gimmick. It's awesome, and I spool up all my lines with it now. Another magnetic tackle organizer. So this TH Marine Tackle Titan, these things are really cool. Those are neodymium magnets on it, so they really hold your metal objects super, super strong. This is great for someone with a bass boat, where they have those lockers that open up and you can hang the stuff right there in the locker when you lift it open. That is what I would use that for. TH Marine watercraft launch cord. You know, launching by yourself can be a pain sometimes, but this watercraft launch cord makes it a heck of a lot easier. You back your boat down in there, it drifts off the trailer, and then boop, you've got that tether to stop it so it doesn't just drift off into the sunset. Super awesome item for someone that has a boat. Again, one of those things they might not know they needed, but after using that once, they won't be able to live without it. And then rounding up a couple of these other essentials, we have these rod socks. So you can see this rod that I have here. I have a rod sock on it, and it just protects the rod during transport. Actually, if you look really closely, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, but you see the paint chipping off on this rod? That was from me not using a rod sock. So it's just one of those things that once I started using them, I can't live without those things. I feel like I've extended the life of my rods by a little bit, just because they're not getting so beat up. I'm not breaking guides, etc., etc. And yeah, they're super cheap, great stocking stuffers, comes with a pair. You do have to be careful though, because there's a lot of options. So just kind of do your research, see what type of fishing rods your angler has, whether they're spinning or casting. You can see those options, and then they've got the lengths listed right there. So if you can get your hands on their rods and read them, they'll have the length measurement on there towards the butt section near the reel. You can see the length and then order accordingly. Now, you're not gonna order the same length as the rod. It's, obviously you want it to go down a little bit farther than this. You want it to go down to about right here. So just keep that in mind. Little advanced knowledge needed for that little gift. And then the last one I have is another magnetic tackle storage thing, this little Juju tackle block. I can't show it to you guys, but this is the one I have. And I'm constantly throwing stuff on there, so it's not just rattling all around my dashboard. Okay, so when it comes to anglers, these gifts aren't for everyone. These are gonna be some top tier, awesome. So when it comes to anglers, I can't think of anything better than a way to keep my beverage cool. And there's a few different ways we can do that. Obviously coolers, depending on the person's boat or their setup and their vehicle, etc. Having an awesome cooler is a lifesaver. You can pack a bunch of drinks, and of course, if you're buying this for like a spouse, they're gonna be using it for those lake days, the beach days, adventures at the park, wherever you go. So this gift might help you out too in the long run. But having a good quality cooler is something that I cannot recommend enough. Same thing with these tumblers, for example. You know, Yeti is the golden standard when it comes to these tumblers that, you know, keep your drink cold for like 10 hours. Yeah, I don't know. Can't recommend Yeti enough. There's a bunch of different sizes, so I'll kind of go over what I think each of them are really good for. You've got this 20 ounce. This is great for like either a hot or an iced coffee if you know your angler likes to enjoy coffee in the morning and take it with them on their commute either to work or to the boat ramp or the lake, whatever. This is a great size for coffee anglers. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice, all kinds of funky stuff. And we've got the busted old Dodge Ram driving by. Next up, the 30 ounce tumbler. You know, if you have someone that just likes to drink a ton of water, things like that, these 30 ouncers are just fantastic. You know, and of course, all these Yetis, they come in a variety of colors. Where did the colors go? Oh, right there, you got that little drop down box. So, I mean, there's tons of colors. Prickly pear, that's actually kind of a cool color. Low Country Peach, what's that one? Let's pick a manly color. Granite. That's not quite so granite or manly. But anyway, we're just failing hardcore. Tons of colors. I like that agave color a lot. Yeah. They get even bigger. So this 36 ounce, this one's really interesting. It's got that twist cap. You can put like a little lanyard on it, hang it from your pack. It's pretty cool. Holds a little bit more water by 6 ounces, but someone that likes to just throw that in their kayak or the boat, that's a really good option. What I personally use when I'm out on any adventure is this half-gallon jug. I fill this thing up. Now, if someone books a half-day trip with me, by the end of that half-day trip, you know, it's like noon, 1 o'clock, I've drank this entire thing. South Florida problems, but you know, just to give you an idea, the half-gallon jug is awesome. This thing obviously holds a half-gallon of water, and you know, great for adventures, great for the boat. If you're going to be out there all day, this is the one for sure. And it actually has come down in price. I paid way more than $100. Excuse me, for mine. Yeah, interesting. So continuing on with Yeti, we're getting into coolers. So this flip, or the Hopper 8, this is good for someone that likes to pack their own lunch, you know, a single person lunch. That's what the 8 is going to be. I think that is measured in quarts, if I'm not mistaken. Again, comes in a ton of different colors, so you know, there's something for everyone when it comes to these. And of course, they make the Hopper in other sizes as well. This next one is the 12. So this will pack a lunch for 2 people, which is pretty cool. So, you know, going out on dates, etc. Or if that person likes to pack multiple drinks, the Hopper 12 will work. So moving on to the roto-molded coolers. So the Tundra 45 by Yeti, this thing is the standard by which all of these roto-molded coolers that have come after Yeti are measured by. The 45 is just the most universal size. You can use it on the boat. You can use it as, you know, a casting platform or a sight fishing, etc. Comes with a bunch of different, or you can get a bunch of different accessories for these coolers as well, like a pad and then bottle openers you can drill into the side, etc. The 45 is just like, if you know your person needs an awesome cooler, Tundra 45 cannot go wrong whatsoever. Don't get anything smaller than the 45 in my opinion. Now I know a lot of you guys are going to be rolling your eyes that I showcased Yeti. Now, there's a ton of different options when it comes to Yeti alternatives. In my personal opinion, I think the best out of all of these is RTIC. They make a high quality product. Is it as good as Yeti? I don't think so. The actual cups themselves, yeah, they might be very close, if not the same, but their lids are kind of lacking, and that's where, you know, your price difference is going to come into play as well. You know, Yeti just represents the lifestyle so much better than all these other companies. All these other companies are clearly just looking to make a quick buck. And of course, there's all the different conservation efforts and whatnot that Yeti uses. That's why I support them. But if you don't want to spend Yeti money, RTIC is the way to go. And again, they have all these different options. One thing that I do like about RTIC, for you guys that when you're going out to eat at Denny's and you want to wear your best camo, RTIC is going to have an option for you. They're the only ones that have a camo option. Yeti doesn't have that. So I think that's actually pretty cool that they do have a woodland camo option out there. And they have some other colors as well. They have this little gradient, American flag gradient, but they don't have all the options as Yeti. But they do have some pretty good colors. So again, they've got that 20 ounce for the coffee person. They do have slightly bigger 30. They do have a half-gallon jug as well, which is phenomenal. So, you know, you've got options. And then they also have cooler options as well. So this little guy right here, this little 6-can thing, obviously it holds 6 cans worth of space. So again, individual lunch will work great. Pack your lunch in there, a can or two. Has something for kind of a camo guy or gal. They have some bigger options, of course. What is this, the 12 can? So again, you know, you have your options. You don't have to spend that Yeti money. Getting into these soft coolers, that's some expensive technology. You know, this is 80 as opposed to, where's that 12 from Yeti? The 12 is 250. Oh, wow. So yeah, that made me kind of skip a beat there for a second. So it's just up to you. You know, the Yeti is the top tier. It's the best. If you're gifting Yeti, that person is going to love you forever. Not saying that love has, you can put a price tag on love. I'm just saying. But anyway, that's just, you know, Yeti is, they're going to appreciate that a lot. They will appreciate RTIC too, but you know, if you already know that person is a Yeti person, stick with Yeti. Otherwise, you know, these RTICs are a great option as well. And then of course you have these little bit bigger bags. This is the 30 can. So again, you're gonna pack 2 lunches, a bunch of drinks, great to take to the beach, the lake, etc. He's gonna run the stop sign. I'm moving in a month. I can't wait to get out of Pompano Beach. I can't wait. Just, I'm done. Anyway, back to the video. So again, the bigger stuff is gonna be for, you know, date day at the lake, on the boat, at the beach, at the park, in the mountains, the woods, you know, or just bring a bunch of drinks, whatever. You guys, the options are limitless. And of course, RTIC has a rotomolded option as well. Again, price tag. Let's see, let's compare that to the Yeti. $209. This is a 52 quart. And then where is that Yeti? It does not say a price. Let's click on one. $300. 209, 300. So save yourself $100 if you know you don't want to spend that Yeti money. So this next category is going to be a quick one. So obviously you're watching this video on YouTube. Fishing on YouTube has exploded. I mean, there's millions of fishing channels on YouTube. So if you have somebody that is into that or wants to get into it, you know, a younger angler, etc., what I'm showing you here is going to be a good step to get you into that fishing YouTube world, to where you're going to be able to record what you're doing hands-free and just get you going. So essentially, if you know someone that wants to do this, you're going to want to buy all 4 of these things that I'm recommending. So you got to start out with a good camera. Everybody talks about GoPro. I don't use GoPros anymore for a good reason. They're junk. They just have too many problems. They overheat, they glitch out. I've actually, and what you guys are watching this on is a DJI Osmo Action 4. Phenomenal quality. Just get this one. It's cheaper than the GoPros, but it's gonna be way less problematic. much better quality. I like the stabilization better. I like the color palettes. Just everything about this is better. Take it from me, I've been doing this for 10 years. I completely got rid of all my GoPro stuff. But you've got GoPro, if you absolutely, you know, I know some of these younger anglers, if they don't get the GoPro that everybody uses, you know, kids these days. But anyway, Hero Black, don't get the Creator Edition, just get the cheaper one, the $399. You don't need to spend 600 bucks. I don't even think you need to spend 400 bucks. Get the DJI. But anyway, if they have to have GoPro, that's the one. And then of course you need a mount. Now these neck mounts, opposed to the chest mount, these things have changed the game for me. When I'm fishing and I set the hook, I'm always setting the hook into the camera. With this neck mount, it gives me a much better angle of view. And when you set the hook, you're not hitting the camera. Trust me, this is, you've seen John B switch to this. Lake Fork guy, if you guys know these people on YouTube, they've all switched to this. Those are the two guys that I've seen switch to it after I did. Yeah, it's just fantastic. This is the one that you want. And of course, you're gonna need a memory card. So these high-powered cameras, you need a quality memory card. Don't cheap out on a memory card. The SanDisk Extreme Pro is the way to go. Get the 128. They'll be able to record all day with it and have plenty of footage. I'm just looking at the time here. Cool. So that's the one. Again, I have that broken down into one section in the description. Just go boom, 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 and your angler will be set up for recording and posting, well, not posting, but recording YouTube videos for fishing, etc. Just boom, all four of those things will get you going. All right, next up, I spoke about cutlery a little bit earlier, just basically a fillet knife, but now we're gonna get into just a good quality, everyday carry knife, something that you can take with you when you're out fishing, in the woods, keep it in the truck, blah, blah, blah. If you're an angler, a good knife is very invaluable. I always have a knife on me, and I can't tell you how many times it's gotten me out of trouble, whether it was, you know, I've had rope wrapped up in my propeller. I've gotten out, had to cut it out. It was the only way to get it out. If I didn't have a knife, I would have been screwed. You know, same thing with cutting line, just dealing with stuff. I mean, I use knives every day. Angler would be no different, whether it's on the boat, on the water, at home, out at work, etc. Everyday carry knife, they're gonna freaking love it. And you don't have to break the bank to get them a good knife. Starting with Civivi. This knife right here, the Mini Praxis, you know, pretty much all these knives, I'm gonna say the same thing. They're great, they're super useful. This is a really good everyday carry knife. Comes with a pocket clip. Overall, out of all the knives I'm gonna show you, this is the one that I would use every single day. But there's other good options out there. So this one's 30 bucks. Same day delivery, pretty cool. Links in the description, guys. I'm helping you out as best I can. If you know that your person is a little more suave, demure, a little more fancy, this Civivi Terax, I think that's what it is. This is just a little bit fancier knife. It is stainless steel, so a little more corrosion resistant. If you know they're on the boat a lot, this might actually be the better way to go. A little bit bigger price tag with that stainless steel metal, but solid knife. Every one of these are solid, solid knives. The CRKT Squid. This little thing, I everyday carried this knife for about 10 years. It's this little tiny compact knife. It folds up to be about this big. Just cool little tool to have. Great stocking stuffer. A little bit more expensive than that first Civivi I showed you, but the Compact Assist Squid, freaking awesome knife. Just a little awesome knife. This one's a little bit bigger. Silver Assist, stone wash. So, yeah. Ooh, I got one with a little texturized grip. But anyway, that one that I have linked for you right there, that little guy, like I said, folds up to about this big. It's pretty cool. Depends on your angler, I guess. Gerber, again, makes some great knives. These would be more for your outdoorsmen, I would say. They're a little more utilitarian in function as well as looks. So this Gerber right here, it's got that serrated edge if they like to play out in the woods, cut some sticks, etc. That's a really good option. We have this one again. This is going to be for your outdoorsman type of person. This is a fixed blade, comes with a really big sheath. You know, your woodsman type of person. That's what this knife is for. It's a freaking solid knife. Look at that sheath. You know, they're gonna strap that to their belt, strap it to their pack. They're doing some work if they have this knife. So it's 90 bucks, but still high quality with Gerber. They're gonna really appreciate that. And then moving on to Benchmade. This is definitely, again, for your bougie person, the guy that has, or gal that has everything. Now, don't forget about you, ladies. I never do. You're always there. But that's, if you know, you have that person that has everything, and you're like, what the heck do I get them? Benchmade, a Benchmade knife is gonna be such a phenomenal option. These are as high quality as they get. Some argue there's better quality out there, but just the legendary status of this brand. So Benchmade Bug Out, this is like the most classic, high-tiered, everyday carry knife there is. Has that frame lock, that little clicky button thing. It's an awesome knife. Just, you know, figure out what color they might want and get it. Ooh, that blue is actually really nice. So they came out with a water series line, like a Waterman line of knives. I can't remember what they call it, like a water series. I think it's just called the water series. And that's what this Adria comes out of. This is a stainless steel knife, very corrosion resistant, texturized grip for wet situations. This is something that a waterman is gonna use. This is a freaking great knife. They also have a mini option, which I don't recommend. Go with the big one, the $250 one. You've got someone that has an expensive boat that you don't know what to get, this is the knife for them, hands down. Such a phenomenal knife. They also have a fixed blade. Someone that definitely does a lot of, that you know is gonna put the knife to work. That fixed blade right here, the intersect, that's it. Comes with that, I don't know if that's a kite, that doesn't look like Kydex, but it has that hard plastic sheath, we'll just say. Pretty cool stuff. Again, stainless steel. Has these ridges on the top of the blade, on the spine, so you can really get your thumb on there so it doesn't slip and freaking do some work, man. I just wanna I wanna work. That was weird. But anyway, and then can't forget about multi-tools. Again, just maybe has everything type of person, or you know a dad out there. The Leatherman Wave. This is the most classic multi-tool out there. There's other cheaper options, but the Leatherman Wave is the most legendary everyday carry tool I can think of. Not much more I can say about it. Again, great for that DIYer type of dude who's always tinkering with something, or a dad or whatever that's got all the stuff on their belt. This is freaking great. Great option. All right, so we're getting close to the end of this video. Still got a little bit to go, but I wanted to talk to you guys about potential gifts that are like electrical devices. There's a ton out there. There's these little portable sonar radar things, etc. Just kind of skip all that gimmicky stuff. But if you have an outdoorsman, a waterman, an angler, someone with a boat, kayak, etc., they need some good tunes. And I recently did a video on a turtle box. I got the River Rock green color. Freaking love this thing. I use it almost every time I'm on the boat. And this turtle box, you can completely submerge it in the underwater. It will not die. It's waterproof up to a point, but it's a great speaker. Again, this could double down as a beach day gift. If your family likes to go to the beach, you can gift this to your person and reap the benefits of it later. But this turtle box it's super awesome quality. Tons of bass, very clear mids and trebles. Coming from someone who's also a musician, this thing is fantastic. I better wrap up this video soon. It's gonna rain here in a minute, but turtle box, you've got some color options, handle options. There's tons of accessories. This thing is flipping phenomenal. Definitely not cheap, but this is a Mac Daddy gift. If you know your angler likes to do some live bait fishing, this Engel Live Bait Pro Well, this thing is phenomenal. It comes with the bubbler, has a little port to stick the air tube down into to keep your fish or your bait alive. This thing's phenomenal, and that is a rechargeable bubbler. Long gone are the days of having to have spare batteries with you. This thing is flipping awesome. Not too bad. It's, you know, 120 bucks. Have a few different color options, a few different size options with this. So you've got these 13 quarts and then a 19 quart. You know, if your person is fishing out of a kayak, something along those lines, or doing some bank fishing, the 13 quart be the way to go. If they're putting this on a boat, John boat, small skiff, etc., go with the 19 quart. Completely skip the 7.5. So just a little pro tip for you guys, but super awesome little bait well. Again, rechargeable bubbler, phenomenal. Speaking about batteries, having some type of battery bank can be a lifesaver sometimes, especially for me when I'm recording with my iPhone. I can plug that in so it doesn't die in the middle of me recording something, or in the middle of a nighttime fishing trip where I'm recording those dock lights and catching the tarpon. I'm always plugging it back into this battery bank just to keep my stuff charged. Great for the boat. Again, great for a bank angler. Just so, if you're out there, especially if you're out there wading a river or something, you're pretty far from home or whatever, just having that extra assurance to know that your phone's not going to die can be a lifesaver too. Not to make me get super down, but it can save lives. All right, so we are getting close to the end of this super long video. Now, it's really difficult to recommend lures or baits for you guys to gift to someone because, you got to know what type of fish they like to target. So you're going to have to ask the right questions. Hey, what are those? What are those fish with the stripes you always like to catch? Or what you got to know a little bit more. It's like, hey, you're always catching on the lake? Is it the big mouth bass, or play a little dumb? I don't know. But anyway, I've broken down some baits into a few different categories, and the categories are different species, and also kind of maybe scenarios with this first one that I'm about to show you. So for your angler that likes to do inshore fishing, snook, tarpon, redfish, speckled trout, this first category is going to be for you. So, and again, I've broken those down in the description, so it will say, inshore, snook, tarpon, redfish, trout, and it'll be broken down with these particular baits. These are just going to kind of cover your bases. There's so many options out there. If you think the 1,000 times fishing rod option was bad, the baits are 10,000 times worse than the fishing rod options. So these are just gonna kind of cover your basics and be kind of some good staples with each category. Starting out with the Z-Man Mulletron. Freaking awesome bait. I've got one right there. Thought I had one right here too. I do. And the hook is rusted because I'm an idiot and I left it outside. But Z-Man Mulletron. That right there, stretchy. Yeah, it's an awesome bait. Lasts forever. It's going to be good for snook, tarpon, big redfish. Not so much speckled trout unless you get the 4.5-inch version. But if they're going for those bigger fish, the snook, tarpon, bull reds, you're going to want to get the 6-inch, and they have a bunch of variety of colors. Stick with stuff that looks natural, that'll just be safe. The Bayou Tiger, not so much, but just to stay safe. So you want to go with the glow mullet. That's good for nighttime. It glows in the dark. The mossback, the silver mullet. Those are going to be the good colors. Unless they fish a lot of dirty water, you can get that Bayou Tiger or the Midnight Express. But 6-inch for those really, really big fish. If they do some speckled trout fishing, smaller redfish, the 4.5 will get you done. But it's a pretty cool bait. They'll appreciate that one a lot. Again, inshore stuff, everything eats a shrimp inshore. Savage Gear, 3D RTF shrimp. It's stretchy, just like that Z-Man that I showed you. They've got a variety of these different colors. They have some mullitrons pictured, which is quite strange. But RTF shrimp. That avocado color works. The plum chartreuse actually works pretty well. But I'll have that linked in the description so you can easily find it. That's a great shrimp option. Again, that one lure will catch them 20 fish before it even thinks about giving up. Some top water baits. Yo-Zuri Hydro Pencil, legendary, absolutely legendary. Great top water bait. I know some of these listings are kind of weird. The Hydro Pencil is the white one that I have on the screen right now. This other diving jerkbait thing, that just represents the color. It's not the actual bait. You will be getting that just in this color. So I got you covered. Links. I think I have a couple more Hydro Pencils listed. Yep, a couple more color options with the Hydro Pencil. All these colors are fantastic. So you can get them one of each or just one random one and it'll work. This Top Knock is another great top water bait. Can't go wrong with that thing either. I think I have another one listed. This one, nope, another Hydro Pencil. And then last but not least, I could not leave out the NLBN Mini Mullet. These are pretty cool, hard to find on Amazon. So these might be here when you see this video, they might not. Otherwise, just go on NLBN's website. You can get for small fish like the small trout and redfish, go with the Mini Mullet. If they catch bigger stuff like snook and tarpon, go with the Lil Mullet, L-I-L. Okay, next, bass fisherman. More specifically largemouth. I didn't do one for smallmouth. I apologize. I will add that at the end of this video. So largemouth anglers, Gambler Big Easy, the Copperfield color, one of the most natural colors out there. It just works. It's a 5-inch bait. They will catch 10-ounce bass. People think the 5-inch is a big bait. It's really not, guys. But this is a phenomenal swim bait. Just get it. Super Flukes, again, one of the all-time most classic soft plastic baits out there, these salty Super Flukes. You can kind of see there's a ton of different colors out there. Watermelon Candy Red is going to be a really good choice, and white. Pretty much just stick with those two colors. If you don't know what color their soft plastics they like to use, those two will catch fish in the entire world. 3D Wake Snake by Savage Gear. This is a little kind of gimmicky, but this thing freaking works. Really cool, really cool bait. Basically, just follow the link I sent you and just click on a color and you will be good to go. But they have a few different options. Just stick with the brown chrome. Even this rattlesnake color, that's pretty much gonna be it. But there's a color for every scenario, but you're gifting this, so you gotta cover your bases. Ribbon-tail worms, all time, like the most, I think more bass have been caught on a ribbon-tail worm than any bait ever. I'm pretty sure. So I have the watermelon red glitter. Again, that's gonna catch fish in the entire world. So you can just, boom, click that link and get a pack of these or 2 or 3, whatever. But that's gonna work. You know, you can put together a gift bag of fishing lures that's gonna catch bass everywhere that there are largemouth bass with these links that I've provided. So you can get one of each and they're gonna literally cover everything ever. And potentially they'll catch bass on everything that I have recommended here. Just like this popper. A black popper, yeah, this is a really good smallmouth bait. This is gonna be included in that list. Black poppers are just, yep. Again, classic. A popper is a classic lure. I really like this Guggen Squad one. I know people are gonna give me a hard time about that, but I've used tons and this thing, it just works. It just works. Whopper Plopper. So this is the 110 size. They make a 90 size, I believe it's millimeters if I'm not mistaken, but they make a 90, it's about that. The 110 is about like that. Then they make a 130, They make a 190. The 110 is a good split the difference size between the 90 and the 130. It's going to draw bigger bites, and just a whopper plopper is just tons and tons of fun to fish. So if they don't have a whopper plopper, definitely get one. I recommend this white color for sure. The black too will work, but the white I feel like is going to work in more scenarios than the black. Good old jerkbait, in my opinion, especially fishing for peacock bass. They destroy every lure ever. These Rapala X-Wraps, they last the longest out of everything. So it's a quality lure. It catches fish, and it's just, I probably use it the most on my peacock charters, to be honest. And as a matter of fact, I do. So check that thing out for sure. Great lure. I have a couple different colors listed because they have some really nice colorways that look really, really natural, and they fool fish pretty well. Rattle trap, again, another just like staple in the bass fishing industry. Rattle traps draw reaction strikes. They catch everything. Not much more I can say about it. It catches fish, hands down. All this stuff catches fish. A frog, ooh. Nothing better than a topwater frog bite, and you just rip that hook set and just boom, nail them on a frog. I absolutely love it. Yeah, there's a lot of different colors out there. You can see a couple more recommended on the bottom if you want to pick up some more frogs. But overall, stick with the bullfrog, and it's just going to work. Plus, you know, it's a gift. They don't have too much say in it. A couple more colors. Okay. What did we finish up on? Another frog? Yep, another frog. This one's a poppin' frog. So more open water technique. Not going to get too much in the weeds on technique and whatnot, but it's just a different option. The leopard frog, again, another color that works, but it's just two different types of frogs. The frogs I showed you at first will walk the dog more like this. The poppin' frog is bloop, bloop, bloop. There, that's your fishing lure education of the day. All right, next up, you stripey boys or girls. This stuff is gonna primarily be geared towards big striper fishing up in the New England area, New York, Martha's Vineyard, the Cape, all that good stuff. All this stuff, it just works phenomenal. And they're higher quality lures too, because you get those bigger fish, they destroy lures. You don't want split rings to break, you don't want the lure to break, lose the fish, etc. Berkeley Magic Swimmer. This thing, I think it might have been copied off of Sabile's swimmer. It's the same bait. I don't know what the deal is, but we're not gonna get stuck in the weeds on that. These Magic Swimmers work great. Go with, again, natural colors, something flashy, like this color right here, the golden goggle eye. Really? Google eye? Goggle eye? Silver, something with a lot of flash. Yeah, these are, okay. Anyway, Magic Swimmer works great. Whopper plopper, 130 size for those striped bass. Big top water explosions. Fish come flying out of the water. Oh my gosh, it is great. They're gonna get a fishing boner watching a striper explode to eat this thing on top. But the 130 size for the striped bass. Bigger fish, bigger bait. Yeah, big strikes on that thing. Whew, can't wait to experience it. Savage Gear Foreplay, bigger swim bait. It just works. I don't know what else to say. Nice swimming action as well. Between that and the Magic Swimmer, I mean, both of those are gonna work, pretty much do the same stuff. So these sand eels, striped bass are known to eat sand eels. This is a real kind of like sneaky bait. Depending on, you know, really for the angler, it depends on what forage is in the area at the time. But throw a pack of these sand eels in there, and it's just gonna cover their bases. Stick with this particular watermelon chartreuse color. It's gonna look natural, and it gets bit. Head and spook. This is the big walk the dog spook. Again, you can see right there, legendary. So in terms of colors, just get white. Legendary lure. Comes with a little beefier hardware. Draw some big strikes too from those striped bass on top. The cotton cordell pencil popper. especially, so if you have guys that are fishing the Cape Cod Canal and they're bombing lures from the bank, this lure works great because you can cast it a mile. And that's what you need out there in that Cape Cod Canal type of situation. So for the shore angler fishing the jetties, Cape Cod Canal, fishing from the surf, this would be a really great lure for that. The badonkadonk, I just like the name of this thing. This is a heavy bait, so you can cast it a mile too. But it's just a cool little lure. It works. The badonkadonk, if they've never tried it, they might want to give it a shot just to, you know, they sell these things in Walmart too. So some people might have a stigma against that. Oh, it's a Walmart lure, blah, blah, blah. But the badonkadonk, who doesn't love a big badonkadonk? I know, I love it. But anyway, why is that showing me medical information? Nomad Tackle. So Nomad is more of like an Australian company, but these big poppers, this Chug Norris, this thing is gonna flip and draw some big strikes. Huge, huge pops and tons of water that it pushes. Thing just moves a ton of water, makes a ton of noise. Again, big topwater explosions, pretty cool stuff. You can't really go wrong with any color on here, so, you know, dealer's choice when it comes to that, I would say. And then wrapping up with Nomad, they have another long style pencil bait, just like that cotton cordell that I showed you. This one's a little bit bigger. Again, comes with more color options, but again, cast a mile. So, and these Nomad baits, they're actually really high quality too. So I do recommend checking them out. But that's gonna, you know, kind of cover the bases for the striped bass, I would say. Oh, okay. So we're kind of up in that northeast section. Now we're moving up to the Midwest, so to speak, musky anglers. So here's the Whopper Plopper 190, the big gun. Just get it. Musky anglers, a big Whopper Plopper. Muskies are known to eat these things, whatever color. I don't think color matters too much when it comes to a muskie. They get more fixated on the action of the lure. So you can get this crazy green looking one. You can get that perch pattern, which pretty much works everywhere. So definitely check it out. If you're getting any lure for a musky angler or big pike angler, a Whopper Plopper 190 is pretty much a staple in your gift assortment. So the Savage Gear Alien Eel, this is a classic musky style bait. There's a bunch of different manufacturers that make baits out there that look like this. It definitely works. So another one you should just, if you're gifting lures, just boom, get one of those things. Any color works. This line through thing, jarred. This is like a roach, I would say, that they have in Europe. This is a little more bougie, but you never know. That big 10-inch roach can catch a big 10-inch muskie. Look up a couple YouTube videos of that and you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, foreplay works for muskie and pike. It definitely works. Just take a look at ND Yak Anglers videos. It just works, man. Pretty awesome to see. Now this Shine Glide, this is a nice wake style bait. Does this action real slow and wide. Another fantastic musky bait. You know, not much more I can say. I've just got it linked in the description. Just click the link, and if you want to choose a different color, go ahead, but I've got the size dialed in for you already. This Rapala Otis thing. Awesome little bait. Just get it. It works. What else can I say? Again, oh, that's not what I wanted to click on. Well, this is actually a good example. Again, this some Mizugiwa thing. This is like a made in Taiwan ripoff of that particular pattern, but you can see how many people copy that particular pattern that Savage Gear has, who Savage Gear copied it off of someone else. So just to kind of prove my point. The Savage Gear 3D Topwater Duck. This is just a fun bait. It catches fish. Pretty cool to throw in someone's stocking that does a lot of pike and musky fishing. So really cool stocking stuffer there is how I would describe that. And then, oh, here's another. The Dock Stickler. What the hell do we got going on here? Why is my internet not loading? So here, the 9-inch Dock Topwater Lure, J&B Tackle. Classic walk the dog musky and pike bait. Classic. It's been around for a while. Definitely works. Bucktails, again, this is going to add a little bit more variety to your assortment of lures you're gifting to somebody. Bucktails work really well for Pusky and Mike. Pusky and Mike. Pike and musky. Any color, whatever. Figure out what their favorite color is and just pick it, I guess, because the color really doesn't matter, in my opinion, when it comes to pike and musky fishing. And then here is Super D. Again, pattern look familiar. Super D is going to be more well-known in those circles than the Savage Gear or that weird assortment of the Taiwanese lures. So again, I would pick this one first over the Savage Gear. I don't know why I didn't put it first in the list, but pretty good choice. Just choose whatever color, click the link, and yeah, good to go. Okay, so finally the last category, and I did say I was going to add this at the end because I forgot to, smallmouth bass. So if you have a smallmouth angler, you know, just like largemouth, there's a million different options out there, and this is going to narrow it down to just a nice little, the essentials type of pack. So Whopper Plopper, reoccurring theme, it catches a lot of fish. The Whopper Plopper 90 size is what I like to recommend and what I have used for smallmouth in the past. Some people like the slightly smaller, I think it's the 75. I feel like the 90 just works a lot better, especially in current, doesn't roll around on itself too much, but it's smallmouth sized for their small little mouths, and it just freaking works, man. Oh, I've got a whole up north series that you can check out. I think I use the Whopper Plopper the most. That and a finesse jig with a Nico craw. These Nico craws, you know, smallmouth love to eat crawfish. And I love the Nicos because they're super durable, like that Z-Man bait that I showed you, super stretchy. I caught well over 100 smallmouth on the same jig and same crawfish bait. I still have half the pack unopened from that particular trip. Nico craws are great. They're the right size and they're just so durable. They last forever. Cannot say more good things about it than that. The other half of that is a finesse jig. You want a really good finesse jig. I'll have more sizes listed in the description, but pair that crawfish up with a nice finesse jig such as the Strike King tour grade finesse jig, and you've got just a smallmouth killer. Oh my God, between that and the Whopper Plopper 90, that's primarily what I caught all my fish on. I did catch a few on a 5-inch stick bait though. I have an affinity for Gambler lures. They're fantastic. The 5-inch stick bait, especially when the fishing gets slower, a little more finessey, they'll come up and slurp a stick bait, no problem. Definitely no more than a 5-inch stick bait though. Unless you know there's like the king of the lake smallmouth that will only eat the giant stick baits. The 5-inch is gonna catch everything. Again, going with Gambler, the Easy Swimmer. It's a little bit smaller than the Big Easy that I showed you, but the Easy Swimmer is smallmouth sized and it just freaking works. Oh, man, I need to get up north and start fishing, man. Oh, I want to catch some smallmouth talking about this stuff. Last but not least, Megabass Vision 110 Junior. It's such a great lure. Sometimes these smallmouth can really get finicky. I know they are a little more aggressive, but that Vision 110, just for whatever reason, you know, when I've been up north fishing for these guys, the Vision 110, when it was a jerkbait type of scenario, outperformed everything, including my favorite jerkbait, the X-Wrap that I showed you earlier. It just worked and crushed it. Yeah, it's just good, guys. It's just so good. It's a more expensive jerkbait, but there's a reason for it. But I'll have multiple colors than just this one matte shad color listed. Take a look at it. Definitely think about getting that as a gift. It's an expensive stocking stuffer, but any angler that gets a Vision 110, they're gonna be like, holy crap. Like, how did you know to get me a Vision 110? Yeah. So, with that being said, that's the end of the video, guys. I hope it was helpful. That's the whole point of this video, because everybody kept asking me for years now, like, hey, what do you recommend I should get? So, yeah. That's what I recommend for 2024 holiday season. I might have to do this every year, try and make it not quite such a big video, but thanks for sticking with me. Again, everything's linked in the description. I have it broken out so you can read everything, all the sections. I have the chapters linked out correctly so you can just skip to whatever chapter if you want to blow through the reels, don't want to listen to the Yeti stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's all there. I did a lot of work for you guys, so by purchasing through these links, I would really appreciate it. It'll give back to the channel for the work it took to put this together for you guys. But anyway, thank you so much. My name's Eric. We'll be back to filming soon, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in that next video. Peace out.